Hi, my name is Carlo, and welcome to a quick series on the top 10 vulnerabilities for APIs. Before we dive deep into the second vulnerability, that's what we're going to discuss today, let's quickly take a break and talk about what is the impact of API security on your organization. So take a minute to think about what happens if your API goes offline and your users are not able to access your API for, let's say, 1 hour or 1 day. So how much money is your organization going to lose? How much lost revenue? And what is the reputational impact of not being able to access your API for a day? And what is the impact of leaking data of your customers? So think about that. And if that number is just a few dollars, probably you don't need to worry about API security. But if that number is in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars, then you definitely should care about API security. So let's dive deeper into the second vulnerability for 2023, which is broken authentication. This is really important because it's easy to exploit, it's very common, and has a severe impact. Now, if we dive deeper into OWASP description of this, you'll see a lot of different things that can fall into the authentication realm. But if we simplify it a little bit, these can be grouped into the password can be guessed or weak encryption issues. Now, in terms of password guessing, if you take a look at a website called haveibeenpawned.com, you'll see that probably your personal email address and maybe even your company's email address has been found in a data breach in the past. This means that your password could have potentially been leaked. I tried out my personal email address and it's been found in 18 data breaches over the past few years. Now, the other grouping is about weak encryption issues, and for that, I'd invite you to go over to jwt.io, which explains a little bit more about JWT tokens. But essentially, if you're not doing a good encryption of the password when you're storing it or when you're transmitting it, there could be some weak encryption issues. So overall, authentication is quite hard to implement. And especially if you have different types of users and you have authorization issues that play a role, then it's quite a complex thing to implement well. And it can be easily exploited by hackers. Now, if you'd like to know more about how this works and you'd like to figure out if your API is vulnerable to these types of authentication exploits, then feel free to head over to quickly.com and take a look at what we do. We focus on API security testing through AI. See you soon.